coached against James Harden. What do you think of him as a player?
I don't know.
Fair enough.
This whole James Harden debacle has been hilarious to me, but of course I say that without having a horse in this race. I can't imagine that so many 76er fans feel the same way, as dealing with the James Harden that wants out from your franchise is a literal nightmare. Just ask the Houston Rockets.
James Harden definitely had a pregame meal, averaging 17 points per game over the last four.
Just ask the Brooklyn Nets.
Sadiq staying in front. Ball gets away.
What is
And
James
Sadiq
Harden
will take it
doing?
away from Harden and drive and dunk.
He had a brain lapse.
And now, unfortunately, just ask Daryl Morey and the 76ers, and I'm sure that they'll tell you the exact same thing.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Thank you, James.
My guy James Harden is a menace. This guy is so petty that ahead of training camp, this man really went clubbing and was at an event where bottle service was holding up signs which reiterated and confirmed that Daryl Morey is still, in fact, a liar. Guys, this James Harden situation has been a disaster. Despite the fact that I love Harden and consider myself one of his biggest fans, as of right now, I wouldn't want this man anywhere near my favorite team. That's not to say that he doesn't have talent or can't take over a game. In the playoffs this past year, we saw him take over Game 4 against the Celtics in the Eastern Conference semifinals, en route to dropping 42 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. Harden is still one of the best passers in the game and an explosive scorer that is capable of playing at an absurdly elite level on any given night. But at this point in time, the drama that comes with him now just isn't worth it if you have better options. I feel like this segment on Certified Smoke of Showtime summed up the path that James Harden is headed down very well.
I think James has to be careful because
He at that point, we're here.
The NBA doesn't need him.
We're here.
The NBA doesn't need him no more. So the way, and I'm all for player empowerment, all of us are for player empowerment, but he forced his way out of Houston, forced his way out of Brooklyn, now he's trying to force his way out of Philly. Like, at some point, everyone's gonna be and he's got so much talent and a lot of game left to talk himself out of the league with his talent, which is crazy to think.
I think that a couple times when you wiggle your way out, bro, you only got about, what, 1 or 2 wiggles? You ain't got no infinite, bro.
Especially when you get older. So I'm trying to tell you, when you get older, that they put up with.
Yeah, come on, man.
When you young and you hot,
they put up with everything.
They're gonna let you rock.
When you old and
they
when
like,
your foot out the door, it's like, all right, keep acting like that.
They're getting younger
We gonna
for a
be
lot less. And I feel like we all feel like he has so much game left. You know, he's not the player he was, but he's still that 19 and 10 type guy, so he can still play. So my thing with him is he just has to be careful. As good as he is, the way he's been wiggling, like KG said, you only get so many wiggles.
What these guys are saying is facts. We've seen talented players get escorted out of the NBA for much less than this man James Harden has been doing. Ironically enough, according to one of Stephen A. Smith's sources, Harden actually talked himself out of a max deal in Houston this offseason when he said earlier this summer that he basically wants to go for his 4th scoring title. As a matter of fact, new Rockets coach Ime Udoka has recently said himself that Harden's play style is not attractive to what he's building. To quote him, "Nothing against James, but Fred is just a better fit. I coached James in Brooklyn. He's one of the smartest players that I've been around. But if we want Jalen Green and the young guys to take those next steps, then we need them to have the ball." What's made this Harden situation boundlessly harder for him is that with his reputation and actions, there's been almost no market for him, and Daryl Morey isn't exactly known for giving players away. With this in mind, there has been at least one team that has remained relatively consistent in their desire to acquire Harden, and this team is none other than the Los Angeles Clippers, who are coming off of yet another disappointing season which was derailed by injuries and probably feel as if they need to make a big splash heading into this season. This offseason, the Clippers would lose Eric Gordon to the Suns, re-sign Russell Westbrook to a 2-year deal, and trade for KJ Martin, who I really like. But outside of these moves, heading into this season, their roster looks relatively the same, while everybody else across the league has been loading up. With a heavy amount of assets being invested into the Paul George and Kawhi era in Los Angeles, this team looking to play Harden roulette makes complete sense. Don't get me wrong, it's a very dangerous game, but in this situation, for this team, the reward can be well worth the risk. So with the way that things have been looking, it's only a matter of time before Harden ends up a Los Angeles Clipper. That is, depending on who you want to believe, as there have been some very conflicting reports out there. Though it was reported back in July that the Clippers only offered the Sixers an unprotected first-round pick, a pick swap, and salaries for Harden, when the Sixers really desired a package that included Terrence Mann and multiple picks, according to Sam Amick of The Athletic, apparently now the Clippers have been going to great lengths to make sure that a James Harden trade does happen, and that the Clippers have now been offering pick swap rights to various teams in order to bolster any offer that they might have for the Sixers. Despite the Clippers trying to get around putting Terrence Mann in any offer that they might have for Harden, according to Shams, the Sixers have continued to make it clear that they want Terrence Mann, with the Sixers basically saying, not only are you giving us multiple first-round draft picks, but you're also giving us Terrence Mann. What's so comical about all of this is that Harden is so ready to go that this man has been on his best behavior since arriving at camp late, despite various reports which have stated that he wanted to make training camp so uncomfortable for everybody involved that they'd have no other choice than to get him out of there. Per Sam Amick, Harden is simply playing ball because he believes the deal is ramping up behind the scenes and doesn't want to be a distraction, which according to Gina Mizell, distraction or not, Daryl Morey was never going to feel pressured to make a James Harden trade, fundamentally meaning that if Harden were to get traded, then it is going to be on Daryl Morey's time and not James Harden's. Now, if Harden's effort level at camp really is an indication of an ensuing trade, then I wouldn't be shocked if this man got traded while I was uploading this video. My man Harden is locked in. This guy doesn't play defense this hard during the regular season. Remember that we've seen full-blown compilations that James Harden defends only when James Harden wants to. Now, I know that when it comes to basketball, that business is business, but as a big-time Houston fan, it really does hurt my heart to see two people who have loved each other so much and built something special in Houston completely turn their backs on each other. But hey, like they say, I guess the game is the game, and at the end of the day, business really is business, regardless of who you're dealing with. Guys, in the comments below, let me know if you see a resolution coming to this situation anytime soon. Also, let me know if you really think that James Harden will end up landing in Los Angeles. Is there a surprise team out there that makes sense for Harden? Could we see a team like the Miami Heat swoop in at the last second with a buzzer beater? Look, I know that I said that I wouldn't want Harden on my favorite team earlier in this video, but all I'm going to say is that you can talk me into a James Harden, Brandon Ingram, and Zion Williamson trio. Man, when desperation hits you as a basketball fan and your team really isn't making many moves, it hits you like a ton of bricks. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.